where I cut over in the middle of a sentence.
Yay!
Because,
Preferably Zach's sentence.
well, actually, it was in the middle of mine for
I
flavor.
have the, I have the best sentences though, so they usually start getting good about halfway, which is why we cut to them.
The perfect time.
But it's also my turn to say hello, guys, gals, non-binary pals. We are that D&D podcast, and we're here to rock. No, wait, we're here to play Burning Wheel. That's it. And I'm doing
Hello, Wisconsin!
Rock!
If I'm in Wisconsin, how much are plane tickets away from Wisconsin?
Where do you want to go?
Wisconsin's not so bad for like 2 months out of the year.
Sure. Is one of those months out of the year October?
Yes.
Neat.
I like
Okay.
Wisconsin.
I've never had the pleasure. I just like cities, like large cities. I don't know how many there are in Wisconsin, but I'm guessing a non-large number. Hello, Quail. How are
Green
you?
Bay.
The only city I've been into Wisconsin, and that's not true. I've been to Milwaukee and Madison. I've seen the airport in Milwaukee. I really haven't been to Milwaukee. Madison is lovely, but I would put it as much. It's like quiet, like college town levels of
Sure.
city,
Yeah.
and I like it.
I also have some rather unfortunate news. I did a thing.
Saw that.
I did a thing.
What is? That's
Into it.
huge. What is that? What is this?
Yeah.
What is that card, and why is it so large?
It's a double-sized card because I bought a pre-constructed commander deck, which is to say I now have 100 distinct cards on my desk with an easy access. And it's
Yeah, but like 40 of them are forests,
it's
so-
it's Jund as well.
which is the best wedge. Well, the best like side wedge.
Shard.
Yeah, whatever it's called.
Look, I have Magic cards.
Oh, good heavens!
These are from 2010.
Neat. These are 2018. A fine vintage.
Magic cards from 1994, but nothing between then.
But yeah, I've fallen deep into a nerd rabbit hole, and one of my peers at work came by today to offer their condolences.
I was like 90% sure one of us would become horribly enraptured with Netrunner.
I tried. I like the game. I like a lot about it. I never got into like the Vancouver scene because I wasn't cool and in games when I was trying to play Netrunner.
A funny story. I bet on the wrong horse. I started playing the Star Wars game. I have a binder full of it down here.
The CCG?
Yeah. Well, the LCG, the one that Fantasy Flight put out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
With the one with the Death Star counter. It's so cool. Nobody
Yeah.
plays it. Nobody plays that game. So yeah.
Yeah, they did just. There's enough of the design, like game mechanics, that apparently Wizards of the Coast own of Netrunner, and chose not to continue the license with Fantasy Flight, which is interesting because like normally you own the IP and not mechanics because you can't copyright or trademark game mechanics. But
Yeah.
there's certain symbols that they had, I'm guessing. Like, I know the tap symbol in Magic is a thing that is, like, actually protected under intellectual property rights.
As somebody who's played like a lot of different card games.
Well, and calling it
watching-
tapping, too.
Yeah. Watching, learning watching what people have done to get around, because it's like the most fundamental thing you can do with a card is just like move it a little bit. So we're clearly going to put that in the game, but what are we going to call it? Is it going to be tapping? Is it going to be exerting? Is it going to be called exhausting?
Yeah.
Is it going to be called what is it? And it's great. Love it.
if we can get just a few more viewers, we can displace Wild Sheep Chase.
I'm sorry, what?
I still want to start
Imitate
watching
Life
Wild Sheep Chase now.
is streaming Wild Sheep Chase. I don't know anything
Wild
about
sheep
it.
chasing sounds metal. Like
Sounds
Oh.
vaguely on brand for this campaign.
We'll get there in a second, but I actually have a trait pitch that could be related to sheep. So,
Scruffy goat herder.
But for whom?
Speaking of, we are going to try to do the trait vote tonight. I think we should probably start with it, and then I honestly probably see how we feel. Full disclosure, and I mean, maybe you want to talk more to this, Adam, but I know you're not 100% sure of like where Magnus goes from here.
Yeah, I'm finding that either Magnus is sort of the one-trick pony, or once that trick is broken, he doesn't got much depth to him beyond that.
I am waiting for him to go hobo with a shotgun. Like, I
The problem is, I try to do that, I'll just die. He literally just die. Because he has no fighting capabilities whatsoever.
But the good news is that it means that you only need one difficult check before leveling the hobo with a shotgun up.
Also, let's point out, Magnus isn't destitute.
Yeah.
No. But the trick that I've been relying on is severely hampered right now.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I mean, like I trust you as a player to be like, cool, my character's broke as shit, and like that's interesting. I want to keep going with this, but at this point, you're like, I'm not sure where he goes from here.
Yeah, if the point is for these characters to be fighting off the invading empire that really is really slow about it, I don't know what he does. Like,
It's a capitalist invasion. It's in stages, but I mean, if you're not sure of what would be fun with Magnus moving forward, like, let's burn a new character for you and roll.
I'm willing to see it out because I want to see how the trait thing works anyways for him. Maybe something interesting will happen. So I'm not like, ready to ditch him right now, but I either need to lean really heavily into this whole villain kidnapping thing or find some other way to make him more interesting.
I want you to be the penguin.
So the way a character plays changes them. This can be deliberate effort on the part of the player to change their character via their role-playing, or an unintended side effect. I think I know which one we erred towards. At the end of a campaign or extended adventure, the GM and the players nominate characters to receive new traits. Going around the table, players discuss each character who participated. Possible traits are suggested for all the characters. After all the characters have been discussed, the players vote on traits suggested for each character. The owning player doesn't vote for their own traits. A unanimous decision grants the trait. Character, call-on, and die traits can be awarded. Characters can be awarded traits that change their bodies, scars, a limp, or even missing digits. They can and should be awarded character traits according to how other players perceive their personalities in the course of play. This shouldn't be a punishment, but an honest outward reflection of what's been happening at the table.
Also, you can vote to remove traits.
Yep. Yeah, in addition to voting for new traits, the GM or owning player may propose that a character lose a trait. If the GM proposes the loss of a trait, a unanimous result is required. If the owning player suggested it, a simple majority. So, can you get to 2 of 3 people if you want to lose a trait? Yeah, that seems like that's about it for here. Beliefs and instincts are meant to evolve into traits throughout the course of play, and then spending Artha to pursue a belief or instinct is a good benchmark for the type or power level of a trait. But
that page is a good page for rules.
It's a very I like how conversational almost the book reads, or feels almost like a lecture.
But this part is much less verbally obtuse than other parts of the book as well.
Yes.
It's also very close to the beginning of the book.
Mm-hmm.
I've noticed that as you get there's a really thick chunk of voice at the beginning, and then it goes away, and then it slowly builds up as you go through the rest of the book.
Yeah.
Which, as a construction of a thing that's going to have a strong voice, I really like.
Yeah. So does anyone want to start talking about their character and that trait or traits that they think they deserve? I should write these down.
We don't nominate our own, right?
You nominate your own, and then everyone else gets to vote.
But we don't vote on our own.
Right.
No.
Should we do introductions first?
All right.
Yeah, that's a thing that should exist.
Pointless.
Okay. Then I will start. Hi, I'm Adam. Today I will be deciding the fate of Magnus Luciano and whether or not he continues in his misadventures with capitalism. Do we want to get into beliefs, instincts, and traits, or should I just explore that with the trait reroll thing?
Yeah, I think we can explore that.
Believe in strengths and traits for now. Hi, I'm Mike J. Darkson Berard. You might remember me from such games as this one and the one on Thursday. I'm playing Lady Margareta Agnesia Luca Pasqualina Bianca Florentia Marte de Fabri. She has a scar over her left eye and a ritualized portion of nobility. She got into a bar fight a lot. I don't know, this is, yeah.
How did the bar feel about it? Also, sometimes the bar eats you.
She mistook somebody for a famous bard.
Bard fight?
Bard fight's a good one. I like it.
I think that's the name of a tavern in town now.
If it's not, it should. Yeah.
There's two stages, and they make the Battle of the Bards happen.
Now,
It's like they're doing piano bars.
Poetry off.
Now I want one of those, like, what are they called? The Indines, the fighting games, like the fighting board games. But I want it to be bard fight, right? And it to be like people who are completely unsuited for having these fights. I want those to be the characters.
I want an entire game just exactly like the scene in Scott Pilgrim vs. the Real World, where the two bands fight with the literal kaiju, music kaiju. Why is that not a thing?
Because art is expensive and game design is difficult.
Yeah. It turns out.
I feel like I could help on one of those, friends.
Is it art?
It's not art. But good news, at least I'm expensive.
Hi, everybody. I'm Zach. Like Mike, you might recognize me from here, also the podcasts, and also the Games on Thursday, which I am running and furiously writing for. The game. I'm furiously writing the game. He, him pronouns. I am playing Indiso de la Vino, proprietor of Two Tusks Grapery and the Third Tusk, which we burned to the ground last time.
Only mostly. I need to get a dream for you at some point in time as well. Or are you sufficiently motivated?
I feel like we haven't really had time for it lately. And I am definitely rolling on the last stream real hard.
That's why I want to throw another one at you and just see if I can drive Indiso insane.
Will it completely contradict the first stream too?
Oh yeah.
The rod is good. The rod is your friend.
Ooh, that's fun. That was a direction I hadn't considered.
It's just a Domo-kun goes up and talks to me like,
yes.
The rod friend. Rod good, rod friend?
Well, no, it's
Fire
just spread me. Instead of follow me.
That's right. It's like a talking mayonnaise tub. I hand you a knife.
Orange mayonnaise.
Cheese whiz.
Orange furry mayonnaise.
Cheese whiz.
Oh god. The rod is gritty.
No, gritty is a manifestation of the rot in our world.
Yes. Gritty needs to be found and burned.
That's right. You won't be forced to pick up the hockey stick and fight it in ritualized combat.
I'm not gonna lie. The first time I saw that thing, my immediate thought was the only way you can kill it is fire.
Have you seen the person who photoshopped Gritty into the backgrounds of various what do you call it?
Like stock photos?
Thank you, stock photos.
Yeah. I've got the one of the other parents at the Y that I talk to every day. I've got her convinced her husband's a Flyers fan, and they've got a 2-year-old as well. And so I've basically gotten her convinced that she needs to make like a totally DIY Gritty costume for her kid for Halloween.
Gritty cosplay.
Isn't Gritty just a cosplay of Gritty already?
Yes.
Like,
yes.
No, what I really want to see is the sexy cosplay of Gritty. That's what I want.
Also just Gritty.
I guess, yeah, there are people who are into that. That's true. That's fine.
An artist that I follow on Twitter, their Halloween name that they go to every year is just Sexy Jamie McKelvey. Like, just sexy their own name. Just very good. Also, apparently Twitter sex bots just start messaging them every October 1st.
Oh, God.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That tracks.
Yeah.
That tracks.
So I feel like we've had a decent digression.
As we do.
Sufficient introduction.
Yeah, we haven't had our Iron Fist Season 2 3-hour discussion yet. But that's not tonight.
We have a trade vote tonight.
We have a trade vote tonight. So yeah, does anyone want to go first and discuss their characters and things their characters have done and seen?
I mean, Zach seems very prepared for this.
I've been putting. I mean, so I started making a list of traits when we started talking about the trade vote, which was like a month and a half ago, and Indisa's been through some shit since then. So some of them don't really feel like they apply, but we'll talk about it. It's a fairly long list actually.
Mm-hmm.
Here it is in Roll20, real quick. I'm obviously not pitching for all of them. This is just sort of the broader list of ideas I had. Affinity for Ventnor seems pretty straightforward and like also the most boring choice. So I'm not sure I'm actually going to like campaign for it. Fey Blood. I feel like I've been doing a lot of magic-y stuff and am an elf canonically.
Okay.
I just went straight for the one that says "Hear me out."
Okay, you know what? Let's talk about Eldritch Sync. Hear me out, okay? So Eldritch Sync is the trait that says that magic essentially
Whenever you
doesn't
turn
work
on hot water, just tentacles pour out.
Yes.
So
exactly.
also, first of all, I read that as Eldritch Stink. Stink.
That would
But
be
you have
amazing.
earthly smell versus eldritch stink.
Eldritch Sync,
Yeah.
yeah, that's like a superpower. Like nothing can stand to be near you, or like your stench bends geometry to non-Euclidean. So Eldritch Sync is, and this is paraphrasing, obviously. The magic can't be used on you, and
Okay.
you can't use magic because it just drains away.
Okay. So
Alright,
you're
so fantasy.
you're the protagonist from KOTOR 2. Spoilers
Yes,
for KOTOR
essentially.
2.
Yeah, spoiler. Come on, don't ruin the best game in the world for.
A 14-year-old game.
Right. It's a game that's sitting on someone's lap and learning to drive right now, Zachary.
Wow,
Probably
it
isn't
really
even-
is 14 years old.
Probably
I
isn't
thought I
even
was just
sitting on a
there.
lap. It's just learning
well,
to
then-
drive in a parking lot.
In the right state, it's got its own farm permit by now.
Yeah.
So,
Or Ontario, I think.
Yeah, but why would you be in that state? I shouldn't stress.
well, at 14, you don't have much choice. Trust me.
You steal a tractor and head for the horizon.
But you gotta have your permit first. Yeah.
And 36 hours later, you've reached Idaho.
Right.
Man, if you can make it on a tractor from Kansas to Idaho in 36 hours, that's actually fairly impressive. Like, you're driving straight through. Anyway. Bringing it back. So, Eldritch Sync, it struck me that, like, so, wizened one of the woods, right? She's clearly got magic powers. The people that they send to her, she tries to teach magic powers to. And Indiso just straight couldn't learn magic powers. Like, didn't learn magic.
We've also seen magic directly affect you, though.
It's true. That's true. I didn't think about that. Okay. Let's move on.
Okay.
So,
Tell me about Elder Stink.
well, earthy smell. I feel like I'm spending a lot of time underground and, like, covered in blood and things now.
Mm-hmm.
So that could be an option. Lucky is just sort of a descriptor for how he keeps getting out of things. The one that I found today, though, I really liked. Two of them. Cool-headed, but specifically after last episode, jaded. Like, because there was Indiso standing unarmed in the middle of a bunch of people, was the only one who didn't hesitate and set them all on fire. Like, Indiso is not taken aback by violence. He's seen the world. He joined onto a poisoner plot. He's been kicked. He was essentially kicked out of whatever semi-royal house he was in. Was enslaved, forced into poisoning. Like, dude's been around. Does not. There's very little that phases him. Right? He's currently running straight at the quest to burn a god.
I just love the, like... That's a lot. Jaded is a lot. That's not bad.
Jaded is huge. Like, cool-headed is, like, baby Jaded. And jaded is, like, jaded. Right? So for those playing at home, or who don't have the book in front of them, I believe cool-headed is a +1d to a steel test against, like, fear and surprise.
It's reduce hesitation.
Reduce hesitation, yeah. Sorry, it reduces hesitation by 1 against fear and surprise. Jaded is 3. 3 of that thing. Which means that Indiso's base hesitation against fear or surprise is 1 with Jaded.
It's just...
Indiso essentially has spider sense. He'll roll more steel than his hesitation, so he'll...
And steel's open-ended.
Yep. But given the events that happened last week, and the fact that Indiso went before the hired killers, the assassin, Indiso did not hesitate at all to barbecue/explode everyone. So
I think
Yeah, but is
Jaded...
that jaded or is that psychotic?
I think that might be something we, like, work up to.
okay.
I was gonna say, is that really cool-headed, or is that just because you're just so drunk all the time that you just don't even... Nothing phases you?
Either way, right? Either way. And then the other one, affinity for sheep and goats. Just because I have so many goats around all the time, and they do my bidding.
And just have a die trait for goats and goat
Yeah.
accessories.
Exactly.
What's quick study get you?
I think it reduces your perception affinity, or what? The how long it takes to learn
perception
skills.
stuff? Okay.
Disturbingly confident.
And, like, I mean, we can make up our own.
Yes, we can.
Yeah.
Character
Psychotic
traits are
actually
super
is
easy.
one. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm not like.
Character traits don't have mechanical effect other than, like, cashing
Yeah.
in for Artha when they get you in trouble.
Yes. Also, like, psychotic is a thing. Like Indiso does not actually have any form of psychosis. Like, Indiso is like...
Indiso set a man on fire.
Yes, but that's not a psychosis. That's just like a willingness to do violence. I mean, I'll take the killer too. Like,
You have the violent trait already.
I do.
So.
I do. I think if there was one I
forget
was
it
going to get rid of...
But
Sorry?
violence without, like, you weren't sad about it. right? There was no
Well,
empathy towards.
wasn't the guy rot touched, or am I misremembering?
He
so
was.
that could go a long way towards.
Adam, you're screwing up my narrative, man.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No, yes, he's completely psychotic. You should take this straight.
I mean, I will
No.
definitely entertain the idea that I'm like unconcerned about the safety of others, or like don't view others' lives as important. But
I mean,
psychotic is a thing. Like it's a thing that Indiso is not. Indiso is not
Okay, something more like-
diagnostically psychotic,
Cold-hearted, then, as opposed to.
Yep.
and that's definitely a thing.
Yep. Cold-hearted,
There's a
and yeah, I mean that's.
The cool head, cold heart.
Well, so cold-hearted is surprise and fear, not pain.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Yeah.
cool-headed is surprise and fear. So cold-hearted is the mannish version of it. It seems like.
Yeah, and cold-hearted is what Margareta has. Yes.
Yeah. Or
I mean,
cold-blooded.
cool-headed feels like a no-brainer
Yeah.
for Indiso.
Yeah.
But okay, so not that I'm going to like. So I'm effectively arguing against getting a bonus to my steel tests. But Indiso's not cold-hearted to everybody though.
I
Like
didn't say cold-hearted. I said
headed.
cool-headed.
Yeah.
cool-headed. Okay. I
Because
mean, yeah, cool-headed.
crisis
I can buy.
situation. I guess I should pluralize that. Crisis situations, of which we've had many over the last few weeks. Indiso didn't like. It's not like, oh god, we're all gonna die. It was just, yeah. So I poured alcohol over this rot touch dude and I set him on fire, and then I found out that my dreams were about gods, so I made a temple. And
yeah, so
one
I
of my
put
goats
alcohol-
died, and then like the citizenry were all like, "Give us back our land," and I was like, "You can't own land, except for me.
Man.
I own land. This land, in fact."
See, now you're making it feel like I should take the protagonist trait.
Is that one of them?
Protagonist,
Aw.
but that sounds good.
I mean, that's what player characters in this game are, though, is they are the people with, like, extreme quantities of agency. Like, that's...
Problems. This trait's just problems.
Yep. If anyone has problems, it's the village idiot.
Designed to death.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, cool-headed does make sense to me. If that is a thing that people.
Yeah, I'm fine with that one.
I'm also kind of a fan of the Fey-blooded one.
I like Fey-blooded just because, like, especially now, like when I first looked at it, I was like, I mean, that's a push, and it'd probably push the campaign in like a different direction. But now I'm in it. I'm down digging in the ground for mushrooms and blood.
Right, and
it's-
like doing weird rituals and hanging out with a literal witch and like a priest who might turn against you someday.
Yes, and I don't think I want gifted. A, because I don't want to deal with all that, but also B, because like that doesn't seem like a thing that Indiso is. He doesn't have that kind of ability.
Right.
He just happens, like, he has some connection that's allowing him to do this. Like, that and Dreamer are sort of...
Well, and like, I mean, one of the things that I sort of like about this world, or at least like a bunch of the different casting things, is like, you don't need gifted to do like not sorcery.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if you need it to do spirit binding or whatever, but like, you could learn summoner and just like be really bad at summoner for a while until you like manage to stop summoning literal actual devils and demons.
I thought you had to be gifted to be able to summon stuff.
Any idiot can do
No.
it. Anyone desperate enough can fail a summoning roll.
Gifted says without it, sorcery, summoning, and enchanting are merely academic.
Interesting. I might be thinking of a different thing.
If you have... I think... because this is modeled after D&D Magic, I think there is a magic system in Burning Wheel that you can do that.
Yeah.
There's a way of approaching magic in Burning Wheel that lets you do that. The way I've been using sorcery with Indiso, because I think I've used it like once or maybe twice, is making heads or tails of actual power as opposed to just like the alignments of things.
Your sorcery skill is functionally the Arcana skill in D&D.
Yeah. Like I'm my symbology is the feng shui. The sorcery is like actually knowing the deeper stuff.
Wait, what Latin did they say backwards? Oh, they cast fireball. Okay.
Yeah. Firstborn. Fey-blooded, cool-headed. Those both seem to describe it, so I'm okay pitching those two.
Does anyone not agree with Fey blood?
What does it mean for a DSO?
The blood of the
means-
elder folk run through him. The character may choose one trait from the elf, dwarf, or orc trait list. Life path and common racial traits are free. No more cost apply to special traits.
Yeah.
This basically means that you got old blood in you.
Yeah. Like the elf half of Indiso is kicking in.
Yeah, and it probably means that I'll get like some little like I won't age anymore, or
just more
like,
slowly or whatever.
Yeah, whatever the elf thing is.
You
Do
ain't...
not feel the effects of earthly cold or heat as men do. They do not fall ill. They are ageless. Probably some. Probably
I think the orc god should overwrite your elf half. You know, so you're half orc now.
Orc. Let me look at orc traits real quick here.
So Indiso now has Flights of Murder's fancy.
No.
Well, I mean, that's fitting.
That wasn't fanciful murder. That was utilitarian murder.
You're fanciful about burning a god.
That's not murder, though.
Yeah, and at a smaller scale, you're burning rot.
Deicide isn't murder?
No, I'm not killing the god. I am performing fire surgery on the god.
I just want to point out that there is an orc common trait called Fanged and Clawed. Which lets you claw and bite people.
Man, I feel like the next time I get in the pit with a moose, just tearing him up. Okay, lynx-eyed like burning coals. I could have glowing red eyes that let me see in the dark.
Cry of Doom. He who sits astride the howling black beast learns to howl like a great wolf.
Like that, but goats.
By the great goat.
Great goats. The dire goats.
Yeah. Cold black blood. The cold substances
cold
of
black
night runs through their veins, rendering these tormented souls immortal. But it also makes them susceptible to the sun's burning rays.
Yeah, cold black blood seems bad. Like the orc common traits are gross. They are cannibal, cold black blood, breeder, fanged and clawed, loathsome and twisted, lynx-eyed like burning coals, and vile language.
Vile language is
that
good.
sounds right.
I mean, I could speak. The vile language lets me speak with vermin, shades, great wolves, trolls, and certain great spiders.
Just some of
I feel
them.
like you should just amend that to be goat. You just tell them now you can talk to your goats.
Goatikit.
Hear me out. What if I'm Pacoon style parcel tongue?
Goatikit.
Why is parcel mouth phrased like that? There's no parcel part of snake, right? Is there?
I'm not an etymologist. Just an entomologist.
Animalia, chordata, reptilia, squamata, ophidia. Serpentes.
Okay. So I'm not hearing disagreement to Fey Blood, but we
No,
can...
it's fine.
Okay. I'm not assigning these traits either. Because I don't know if we want to apply, like... I think we set, like, a hard upper bound at 2 and probably a fairly decent one at, like, 1. But we can...
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I also have a pitch for traditionalist coming off, but that can wait.
Well, I mean, yeah. What do you want to lose?
I feel like traditionalist is not a descriptor. I am building a still. I actively abandoned the old ways, and then I tried to overthrow a government, and then I am just like everything that I'm doing is non-traditional. I'm out here forging a new path in basically every way.
I mean, you also went to like. I'd argue that you're traditionalist in ways that are like not the local custom, but you're going like back a couple invasions functionally. Like the witch follows like the capital O, capital W old ways. And I mean like following traditions of Pakun and literally doing rituals to earn the blessing of a god that has been written down in a book and passed down through generations. So I mean, like, I think there are traditions that Ndiso follows and is respectful of, but like differently from everyone else in society.
Okay, all right, I'll buy that.
That's my argument, and I mean, like, I don't have the final say or anything. Zach, how do you feel about the trait maggot connoisseur? That's just
time.
It's just
There,
sitting.
Back to that one.
It's just sitting in
Doesn't
the
that require
book.
Dwarf life path.
It's just a character trait. Anyone can be very, very discerning when it comes to their maggots.
I really like metal plate in the skull, and now I kind of want to give it to Magnus. So like, as he goes on his rampage through the upper classes, he just has like a shaved head and a plate right here.
Becomes a Terminator.
Yeah, you're like fantasy Deathlock. It'll be great. Okay, did I actually give votes on anything?
I'm still sort of assembling stuff at this point, but
Cool.
Somewhere
I'm-
between Feyblood and Coolhead.
and I mean if both of those fit like super strong, then let's slap them on there.
Bullseye
is-
Spitter.
Bullseye Spitter. Yeah. Yeah, one of the sailor life paths, I think it's Bullseye Spitter.
Good. Is there
Just
anything
stick
else
your eye.
you'd like to have pop off, or
No, I mean those two make a lot of sense. Like I said, the one that has made sense the entire time is Affinity for Venom, but that's super boring. So, Chosen One of Pakun is on the list.
God?
That's, I mean, granted, and like I wrote down, faithful seems like a stretch. So there wouldn't be actually a mechanical benefit
Right.
at all. But
Holy shit! That just gray shades the faith.
yeah,
Phew.
which I wouldn't have because I don't actually have faith in Pakun. I just like
Right.
am doing his work here on whatever planet this is.
Rotlandia.
Oh, that was a poor choice of name. I feel
Remarkably
like that's-
apropos, though, to call it like a few millennia before.
like the word that we've always used for this chunk of dirt that we're walking on is actually the doom that's coming for us.
Yeah. It's delicious.
Okay, so you're good with traits, no traits coming off. I don't know how patient Ndiso is.
I mean, I would definitely be willing to look at that. I have cited it like twice, I think,
Okay.
but not. I mean, the thing is, like, if I lose patience, I probably transition to more of a distillery than a vintner, because being a vintner is about being patient and waiting for the wine to come in, and distillery is like, no, turn up the fire. It's great. It's fine. Just.
Can we make the alcohol stronger?
Mm-hmm. And then can we burn that alcohol to make more alcohol faster?
Can we do it faster?
Yeah. Can you make evaporation and condensation happen? Yeah, I mean, I was again patient. I'm not gonna fight for patient staying. Off kilter, I totally will.
Yeah.
Prideful, I totally will.
Mhm.
Violent, I don't think I could make a decent case for that not being there.
Nope.
Like I'm not like I that's not true. I have thrown a punch, but
I was so happy when I got you to like, I'll open brawling.
Tiny dog. You're caught in the mic cord. There we go.
Hello, tiny dog.
But yeah, I think those cool-headed and Fey-blooded both sound, and Fey-blooded would need me to do a little bit more looking to see what I wanted. Probably,
Yeah.
it'd probably just be like the firstborn stuff, though. I would guess.
Okay.
Yeah, those are the two that make the most obvious sense to me. And yeah, patient can make sense as something to come off, but I will leave that to the group.
I'm pretty happy with this list looking at it. So yeah, any votes against cool-headed getting slapped on?
No.
Cool.
Yeah, we're on our way to Jaded.
Yep.
You guys have to Voltron a Jaded together. Just like grab two more.
You get cool-headed, cold-hearted, and cold-blooded, and just get there that way.
Exactly.
And that is page 320. And any disagreement with Feyblood?
No.
Cool. I really like the idea that, like, doing weird, spooky magic shit, like, woke up your elf blood.
Mm-hmm.
And it's finally like, fuck. Alright, let's go.
But at the same, like, and this is totally a thing that you have to figure out, but like I am currently campaigning to save an orc god.
Mm-hmm.
Elf blood, orc god.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Seems like it could be an oil and water situation here.
It
I
depends.
mean, you just think it's elf blood.
Maybe Indiso murdered Daddy and took over the vineyard.
It's never been confirmed there was murder of any sort involved.
It was just Green Uncle Fred.
It's really hard to stab around his tusks. There's so many tusks.
All right. It feels like we got there, everyone.
I think yeah.
Margareta, Magnus.
All I have for Margareta so far is cold-blooded.
But you have that.
I have cold-hearted.
Oh.
I'm into the G's, and none of these sound good so far. Graceful. Sure. No, I just,
One of the traits is just disturbingly large mouth.
yeah.
Compulsive liar.
Is she, though?
This character cannot help themselves. The lies come unbidden and never ending. Note that this trait does not necessarily make a character a good liar.
I mean, I am trying to con everyone into believing that I somehow have 9 skills open.
Mm-hmm.
There's got to be something in there about doesn't stop opening skills.
Mike, take quick study. Although I don't know if it actually works since you've been working so hard to open things, but reduce your perception aptitude by 1.
What does that mean?
means that it takes one less unskilled attempt to open a perception skill.
Oh, nice.
I mean, we have a bunch of other like we can slap character traits on too. Aggressive.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Arrogant.
In over her head.
Right.
Yeah.
Callous. Calloused.
Disfavored daughter.
Think we have that?
I think that's literally character's description.
I mean, good. Like, that's cool. Let's slap a mechanic on it.
These are in some ways a like 1 or 2 word fate aspect. Right?
Yeah.
But specifically like you want the trouble part of the aspect. Because that's how you get fate points out of it.
Or, I mean, you want the mechanical benefit of them.
Yes.
Feels like black sheep should be a trait.
I mean, it is. It just isn't written in the book.
Here's a good one. Loyal.
I saw that and skipped right over since you tried to kill ahead of Steve.
Yeah. Might be
Since
more
you what?
disloyal. There aren't many authority figures that you don't try to ruin.
And you're like adding to the list constantly. Like you're adding to the list of the people you're actively looking to go hurt.
I guess mark of privilege doesn't really mean.
You already have one.
Yeah, but like
Oh.
absurdly privileged.
Okay, no, here's an easy one that I'm going to suggest. Melodramatic family.
Oh! Yeah, you're already like halfway to a WB.
True.
Also murderous.
I've barely killed one person.
Barely killed 7 people.
Scheming?
I don't... That implies more forethought.
Okay. Okay.
Prominent scar.
Odd.
You haven't really used the sixth sense at all.
Reckless.
I was trying to figure out a way to open magic, but I think I actually have to go out and try to get it now.
Yes. Yeah, getting gifted, like, that's not a thing that just you get.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what if I sacrifice somebody who's got Fey blood?
That shortcuts a lot of things, actually.
Yeah.
I feel like that's also actually asking for some corruption there.
Sure.
Probably.
It's gifted, not, like, blessed. Gifted implies a gift, not...
So dramatic family.
Specifically melodramatic family.
Melodramatic family, yes. Poised, there you go.
Street smart is definitely not on the list.
Despite being caught in extremely compromising circumstances, this character remains unflustered. Poised counts as a call-on for resisting the effects of obfuscate and incite actions. It also counts as a call-on for etiquette. I guess it's not really... That implies that Margareta is not drawing sword and gun and leaping into the fray, possibly to get bonked with a...
That's what I was about to say. I think that is like the number of times you have debated between shooting and stabbing someone means that poised is probably not. Tenacious.
Ooh, tenacious.
Character is a
Things
one
go
track.
poorly, I could pick up resigned to death.
Yes. Yes.
Spartacus.
Also,
Ooh,
there's a trait
into
called
Legacy.
Wolverine, which literally just makes you heal faster.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like it's that Wolverine.
Well, also there's a trait called Lewis Woo that makes you laugh instead of drooling if you fail, if you hesitate.
Very good.
Like, there's a lot of that. There's a number of those in here. The Killer is the movie The Killer, and it's just like constantly trading guns until the person died. It's great. There's so many like sideways and sort of obfuscated references in here. What about secretly worships the Dark Sea God, Mike?
I mean, yes, but secretly?
Also, Maggot Connoisseur is still like right there.
Wolf Snout.
Mm-hmm. Smells like a horse.
Yowling.
Mm-hmm.
So, what I'm getting is that it should be more colorful.
Another suggestion. Sadistic.
Unsavory madman, Mike.
I feel like that's not precisely fair.
Xenophobic.
Yeah.
Definitely not xenophobic.
Mer?
What?
Totally not xenophobic.
Tell me again about why you're here, Mike. Lady Margareta, perchance. What are you
Violent
attempting-
traditionalist.
Those people are also generally xenophobic. Xenophobia is like part of the combo pack there, yeah.
There's also dangerous obsession.
Ooh.
I think that's a dwarf trait, which would be great.
Oh, I have no
Happy to
idea.
pick it up.
I mean, yeah, it just makes the argument a little harder.
Well, it adds to greed, so
Oh.
I think if anybody in the party was greed trait, probably isn't Margareta.
It could just be obsessed then.
Yes, obsessed is an option.
Does Margareta have either a fear of cheese or wet noises?
No.
Just Mike stops for a second, closes his eyes, considers everything.
I do think disturbingly confident might actually. She is literally unfazed about anything that happened. We're moving forward with the plan. The plan is moving forward.
All character traits. Disturb.
I mean, just dangerous.
Dangerous, yeah.
Crotchety.
I was trying to find a way to like pitch that. No. Dangerous, daring. Driven.
Daring, I think, is the one, yeah.
Daring is a pretty good one. 'Cause you're nothing if not daring.
Oh, I like Bloviatic.
Yeah, you guys should have been doing your research while voting on Indisa, clearly.
Yeah.
We were reading for a DSEP previously.
Of the group,
Bad
Bloviatic.
shit. Can I just say batshit?
Impulsive?
Yeah,
Impulsive.
that might be better than daring, actually. Yeah, is impulsive. Wow, affinity for sheep and goats is literally actually a skill or trait.
Yeah. No, I put it in there. Like,
Yeah.
it's a dwarvish trait.
No, I thought
but-
it was just like one of the affinity for ... dots.
Nope. No affinity for sheep and goats is just an affinity for sheep and goats.
Okay.
Plus 1d to any killer stat when
Dealing with sheep or goats. Yeah. Good.
I am the goat whisperer. Long of limb.
Is there anything that represents the fact that Margreta has opened 12.5 skills?
Yeah, I mean, it's not really quick study so much. I was looking for like jack of all trades,
Or like broad study.
restless.
I mean, we can just say jack of all trades as a character trait.
Massively unprepared for this. Underfunded and undereducated. Oikofugic.
If we'd done this session and you had talked to Reach a bunch despite the fact that Reach was dead, you could have had an invisible friend.
Yeah. Rower. Plus 1d to power to motivate an oar-driven seagoing vessel.
Mm-hmm.
What a fascinating book this is.
Predatory.
Is that just like a tag character trait?
Yes, character trait.
I have no idea what the magic burner is, but you can turn it to Mr. T with Brook No Fools.
I pity the book no fools. Remarkable flatulence.
Yeah, I saw that.
Rabble rouser kind of like you're rousing rabble.
We haven't
Fired them.
like we've seen that once. Maybe it's just
I-
restless.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what a call on is, but there's a one called Brutish Efficiency.
It's probably an orc thing.
Dwarf thing. Oh no, it's a siege engineer trait.
Yeah.
Oh.
This trait acts as a call-on for siege engineering for orcs.
Oh. It's very difficult to do this without a book.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's super hard.
Yeah, I went to the Burning Wheel Wikipedia, apparently.
So is there something that's like the opposite of resigned to fate?
Like resisting fate.
Yeah,
Yeah,
essentially.
no pay for what you make.
There's like what's the word for somebody that does that? That
Protagonist.
Sarah Connor.
for somebody that tilts at windmills.
Oh, Quixotic.
Yeah. Quixotic. Quixotic?
Quixotic.
Yeah.
I've never known how to pronounce that. To be perfectly honest.
I think
'Cause
it
there's,
is
like,
quixotic. Yeah.
Yeah.
in the second edition WG, the Quixotic Jetty, the
Yes, that was one of my favorite characters. Oh my god.
the Jedi that doesn't know what he's doing and like
Yeah. Yes. I feel a disturbance of the Force. Yeah, right.
yeah, whatever. Dude.
It's been 30 years since I read that book, and it's still in my brain meat.
Mm-hmm. When I love those little like the character sheets are like this wide,
Yes.
but there's so much in some of them. It's amazing.
Laconic Scout. Kid.
Oh.
I could name probably half of them.
I actually found a page, like a wiki or something, that had like all of them they ever made listed out. It's a trip.
I mean, Quixotic literally means exceedingly idealistic, unrealistic, and impractical.
Yep.
I have a hard time not.
That's. Yep.
Yep.
I am definitely on board with that.
Team Quixotic.
So is there a trait you would like or you think does not apply anymore?
Prideful? Nah, probably. Traditionalist? I mean, that's kind of why I do what I do, but also see next one, violent.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I've been darling much court recently, but maybe.
I mean,
that relationship hasn't changed at all. So
Right. I see an argument for removing traditionalists, which is like when I got you to describe your sidearm, you're just like, it is nothing like my family's. And like the traditional thing would have been for you to sit down, shut up, go with your brother to have your name shredded apart. But I mean that's up to you. Or at least you just replaced traditionalist with quixotic.
Yeah, there we go. It updated. I mean, I don't see a reason not to.
Does anyone think traditionalist stays?
I don't particularly wish to defend. I mean, of the three of us, Margareta has been the one that has been the most observant of traditions, or at least the most like the one who leverages traditions the most, right? Like all of her stuff is built around this like hierarchical, noble interaction structure, including like
yeah,
who catches a bullet and who catches a knife.
Well, and the like, did they call me by my proper title? Yeah, okay, yep.
It's not. Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, it's not an easy. Just you've edited it back in.
Yep.
You've also literally shot someone in the streets just so you could follow tradition of not stabbing them.
Yeah. Well, and like the scar we determined was tradition. I think you made a roll to that effect.
But you also shot that rot person the other night, and they were clearly not noble.
I think like on the field of actual battle, it stops being a thing.
So I didn't know how to respond to that. I was just immediately like, yeah. So that the Margareta character flowed through me for a moment.
Yeah, but shooting was the ignoble thing, wasn't it? Or was not the swords were the noble way to kill someone.
Yeah.
So shooting some guy doesn't matter. That's why she shot the tax collector.
Yeah.
When stabbing would have been much quieter.
Yep. Okay. Does anyone think melodramatic family does not apply?
No, I think it works.
Stupid, sexy brother.
I'm looking forward to destroying that.
In my head, brother is Flanders now.
Yes.
And this is a huge problem for me. So.
I'm trying to figure out like
shows back up in like session 15. I did Leo, sister.
God damn it.
Feels like I'm wearing nothing at all.
Get my Flanders rock.
So, yeah, overly dramatic, melodramatic family. Is that a character trait?
Yeah.
I have lots of character traits all of a sudden.
That's not a problem.
That's how you get your fate points, friends.
And like, if you ever need more fate or whatever, you can just be like, fuck, like, my sister is such a pain in the ass and like used to always do this thing. Or like circles her up and she's in town or something, right? That's a button you can push that just dispenses fate. Is like, this shitty like family member of mine is here and it's making everything terrible.
Shit. Damn you, bubble sword. Is this as funny to watch as it is for...
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right, it's now properly alphabetized.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, Adam.
So, yeah,
Oh,
does
go ahead.
this go away for me? Oh, yeah, Adam. Do you want a new character?
Well, I was going to ask if...
I'm gonna.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna go through the trait thing with Magnus just to see what comes out of it, and then we'll see what shakes out of this session.
Cool.
So what does avarice do?
A player may choose to make their dwarven character especially greedy.
Oh, damn it, it's another dwarf thing.
I mean, you can still argue for it. With this trait, they can raise their starting greed to whatever exponent they desire, so long as it's higher. The downside is that greed always counts as whatever type they need to advance, no matter the obstacle.
Jeez.
Oh, that's really good. The Outlaw Pirate, Quixotic Jedi, good stuff. I mean, I feel like Brash is the thing that could fit there.
Brash pilot. Zach, turn to Brash pilot.
I think that's actually in the other. That's actually in the second edition.
No, it's in the first edition. I remember
Was the first edition?
Laconic Scout, Brash pilot, kid, an animal, live or dead, bottle of fizzy glug. I remember like everything about that page.
There you go. Rash Pilot's right next to Ewok.
And Bounty Hunter.
Kid is the next page, I believe. Yes. Failed Jedi, Gambler
And kid. That's a
Didn't-
campaign right there.
Didn't Rob play that character?
Yes,
Armchair Historian.
that's right.
Good.
Like the armchair historians quoted something like, "Things are different in the battle of Deneb 5, but I guess you kids wouldn't remember that or something." It's amazing.
If Krug had only swept further with the right wing in Salvera instead of turning when he did, the whole history of the Clone War was different.
This was 1987.
Good.
When this book was written.
So Brash feels like a thing that could fit. There was one that I saw which was deferential.
Okay.
Well, because like every time a noble was like talking shit to Magnus, he just stood there and took it.
Okay, so okay, yeah, that definitely was a thing. He definitely didn't challenge them directly, right?
Right. Yes.
On like their turf. I do like the idea of giving Magnus like capital G greed, though.
Yeah.
Like that feels, especially now, right? Like that feels strong. Like as a driving factor, that feels strong.
Deep in the heart of every dwarf lies a terrible seed, a lust for wealth and beauty. Some dwarves master it, others succumb. It is a powerful emotion that drives many a dwarf from their comfortable life and compels them to perform terrible acts or zealously create works of inestimable craft. See the Dwarven Greed section in this chapter for more on this emotional attribute. I mean, I'm not saying no. The section of the book that is just entitled The Lists.
Choose 3 of the 4 categories: riches, physical beauty, craftsmanship, or power.
And those are the things for which you have greed?
Mm-hmm. Greed makes dwarves vulnerable to a form of wonderment. Whenever they see something awe-inspiring, an ancient artifact, a hoard of gold, a beautifully crafted haul, the GM or player himself can call for a steel test. If the greed exponent is higher than the character's hesitation, use that as the obstacle for the steel test instead of the character's hesitation. If the test is passed, there's no adverse reaction. The character maintains his composure and restrains his will. If the She's Magnificent test, that's what it's called She's Magnificent, test is failed, the character chooses one of 2 reactions: either stand and drool or invoke the I must have it rule.
Mm-hmm. I'm a definite fan of Magnus having capital G greed.
The upside of greed, essentially, you can You can fork greed into resources test if your greed is lower than your resources.
Okay.
Right?
If your greed is oh wow.
If your greed is higher than your resources, you all of your resource tests are made a +1 ob. Right? Because you don't want to give anything up.
I see.
Right? But if you spend a persona point, because like you can spend a persona point to gain +1d on a roll, right? If you have greed, you can with beef a dwarf with doing so allows the player to add any amount of dice from his greed exponent to an ability test. So if you have greed 3, you spend 1 persona point and get 3 greed dice.
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm.
But it has to be if you're like creating, acquiring, or attempting to retain something you're greedy about.
Okay.
And then if your greed reaches 10, you become a literal monster.
Yeah. You cease being a player character at that point.
Obstacle 8 greed is killing someone for what they possess and you desire.
Well, so that's an obstacle 8 greed like test that you get awarded. Because it's like faith or it's like steel, you get bonus tests for doing something that feeds that emotion.
Being greedy, being actively greedy makes your greed go up, which
Yeah.
makes you more powerful.
I see.
It's a feedback loop.
Like the dark side.
Ruining the health and prosperity of others so that you may have what you desire.
Obstacle
done
1
that.
is obstacle 1 is taking or demanding the biggest portion. Like, no, that slice of cake is mine. I don't care that it's your birthday. That's my
Mine.
cake.
Yeah. She's magnificent. I will have it.
Obstacle 6 is beholding a beauty in nature that a dwarf can never attain. A perfect sunset, a perfect spark of a forge, glitter on water, breaking an oath for greed.
Good.
Oh, this would really put like because Magnus's "I'll never lie to make a deal" belief.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
your greed is going to have something to say about that.
Yeah.
If should you go down this path, obviously, like that's totally up to you.
I mean, it's your guys' choice.
You still get to argue for or against, but
No, it could be fun.
I think it's an interesting dimension.
Mm-hmm.
So if you get greed, I don't know, like because greed is normally just a dwarf thing, right? I don't know if you.
We'll do the questions
Okay.
to determine starting greed. Which is like around 123.
It's 121. I'm looking at it right now.
Thank you.
Uh,
We'll mark this page of
We-
the book with that pin.
we may need to slightly alter some of these questions.
I think we'll just take them as is, honestly, and just like you won't be 200 or 300 years old.
That's fair. I mean, I just think like because there's life paths
Yeah.
that don't specifically match up to the Manish ones.
Yeah.
So
I mean, Trader probably does.
yeah, Trader does directly. Treasurer probably would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like you haven't been a seneschal or prince, so. Okay. Is there anything that you saw that spoke to you? You argued for avarice earlier.
Yeah. Just gonna go full dwarf.
Yeah.
Just become the enemy.
Yeah. Well, and like that's right.
Yeah. Let's throw. I'm down with avarice. Just the dwarvish special traits.
I think that might be too far to start.
Well, what's the one? Is it just greed? Yeah, it's just greed that gives them the.
Yeah.
I think we can start with greed.
And then yeah, if you like lean super hard into just like no, I will own this entire kingdom, then we can look at avarice.
Yeah, when you go full Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I tried to do, and I failed.
Right.
Well, Lex Luthor went to prison and came back out, and it was president.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
step it up.
Go ahead.
I thought there was something else I saw that I was scrolling through, but there's many words here on this page.
Inconsiderate.
Bearded. I'm just still looking at the dwarven common trait. One of them was bearded.
Mm-hmm.
That is
No dwarf would be seen without a beard. But you're not a dwarf, so it doesn't really apply. Unless you want it to.
Trying to find like.
Unlucky.
Yeah.
Oh,
Although I think that like has mechanical teeth,
It's not mechanical,
because Lucky certainly does.
but so it's like anytime you make an arbitrary choice, it's wrong. So like the example given, like, okay, so there's a left door and a right door. Which one do you go through? Okay, well that's the one that has the pit trap behind it.
Yeah.
oh, jeez.
Unlucky may be bought off if a player utterly succeeds at a test at a crucial moment. The player may opt to turn the success into a dismal, catastrophic, and hopefully hilariously humiliating failure. Doing so immediately earns the player a fate point and persona point. Unlucky is then removed from their trait list.
Oh, okay.
Alternatively,
Like-
underpaid.
I like incessant tapping.
Oh, and you're just like... I mean,
No, I mean, I'm not saying that's something that Magnus does. I just like that as a possible character trait.
yeah.
The sign to death.
What was the... It was deferential?
Deferential was the one. Although I feel like that's... Yeah.
It like there's like a deferential to your face is sort of the thing that we're looking for, right?
Yeah. Extremely respectful of one's betters.
There's the various obsession ones that could go along with the greed. There's obsessed and dangerous obsession.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's just too much down the same path, though.
Obsessive.
That would be mean. I was like, can we argue against affinity for business?
I was actually thinking, like, that was one of the things I was like, this afternoon, like, trait removal was when I read the trait removal vote. I'm like,
I already have one for trait removal. Because I've never even literally
Yeah.
done anything with distracted.
Yeah. Is it
I mean-
fixed smile? Or like... I feel
was
like
a
the fact that you're
Blank
like...
stare.
You're
by the fixed
demure
smile.
or something, like... Where you were just like extremely passive when someone is berating you, and then you like behind closed doors is then you're just like, I will murder
Okay.
this person.
Focus. No.
No.
Extremely bitter.
Maybe? There's a Joan of Arc trait.
There is. Fear of wet noises.
Mm-hmm. What's your argument to remove?
The
Oh,
distracted.
distracted?
Yeah.
What was
I
that?
think Magnus has been pretty focused so far, not distracted at all.
It's true. It's hard to argue with that, actually.
Yeah. Maybe it's mercenary. For the like smiles at your face and then behind closed doors tries to destroy you.
I could also throw out ambitious.
Ooh, well,
I like
Yeah.
brash more than ambitious.
Brash.
Because ambitious is like, I've got these aspirations, and brash is like, I'm gonna do this thing.
right.
Measure twice, cut never. Or measure never, cut once.
Gerbil brained. I'm not pitching it. It's just in the book.
Mhm.
Gerbil brained.
Or maybe it's practical that you don't mouth off to people.
My
Yeah.
head where it is.
It's always just greedy. Greed and greedy. We'll give these two traits.
There's also, I don't know how well, but predatory.
Ooh.
Definitely that.
Silent hatred, maybe?
Oh,
Yeah.
that sounds vaguely orcish. Is it orcish?
It's just a character trait.
Well,
But I mean, I can see that as a jumping off point to get into some orcish traits. Why not just load up Magnus with the various emotional traits from different...
Dwarves and orcs. And,
Yeah.
just the bad ones.
just all the bad ones.
They're all bad.
Yeah, the elves though.
Grief.
Yeah,
Or spite.
But you can push.
But it's
grief
good
with,
grief.
like, cool magical abilities. Orcish spite is like, or hatred is just bad.
Yes.
It's just bad. I was thinking of something and now it's off. Now it's gone now. Organized.
Yeah?
I'm fine just going with one of these. We don't have to keep on searching. We can just settle on two of these. Or I guess
Pointed
one.
ears.
Pointy ears?
Stop. Maybe it's poisonous ambition. Because, like, it hasn't got you anywhere good.
Sure.
It's hard to argue. Poisonous ambition and greed. I like those two. I like the idea of saddling you with greed.
Well, and, like, you made a mafia and hired leg breakers, and, like, they're not especially competent, which is probably worse.
Yeah, you're not. Actually, I was wrong. You're not Lex Luthor. You're Wilson Fisk.
Yeah.
You went the other way.
And distracted, yeah, is definitely a thing that can leave.
Resigned to death.
And is greed... What flavor of trait is greed?
It's an emotional trait.
So is that a die trait? Is that a call-on?
Let me look it up real quick.
Die
Here.
trait.
Dwarven greeds.
Yeah, it's a die trait.
Doesn't come with any of the abilities like buy dwarven mail or anything. Being an actual dwarf does.
All right. So, Magnus,
Yes.
let's determine your greed. I'm so glad you've got greed.
Oh god. Note that a failed steel test in which the player chooses I must have it count 2 routine tests for advancement.
Neat. So, total the answers to questions below. Want to double check where it starts. Okay. So, +1 greed if your will exponent is 4 or lower.
It is 4.
Good start.
Yep.
I expected it not to be. I expected it to be higher than that.
Yeah.
I went high perception.
Yeah. Okay, so we're at +1. +1 greed for every 60 resource points. Do you remember what you started with for resource points?
was your
75,
starting
30 is 105, 121, 131. Holy shit, you might greed out. Just like instantly.
Yeah, I would just kill a monster right off the bat.
It'll actually be Wilson Fisk. It'll be great.
+1 greed for each of the following life paths. Were you ever a traitor? No. Mask bearer? No. Master of Arches? No. These are all?
All dwarves, yeah.
Okay.
Because it's all dwarves. It's all dwarves.
Okay. So that's a no. You didn't grow up in dwarf society. Have you ever coveted something owned by another?
It's not
Prior
per
to
instance.
No. It's just yes or no.
Dude, you made a mafia to take a country back.
I'm trying to. Is this like pre-character gen, or this is just like?
Just yes or no.
It's
yeah,
up to now. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Have you ever stolen something you covet?
No, I think Magnus has legally acquired everything.
This is capitalism isn't theft.
Yeah.
I mean, not under the laws of capitalism.
I was gonna say, yeah, no, that was not a, yeah.
Have you ever had prized treasure stolen from you?
No.
I don't think so.
No.
Well, because
You just had prize treasure stolen from you, right?
didn't own. Well, no, like that was
No.
shitty trading.
Yeah.
I mean, Magnus might see it as stolen.
Well, Magnus's player is saying no, so that's fine.
Mhm.
That's four.
I don't think you've ever been in the presence of the master craftsmanship of the Dwarven Fathers.
No.
Have you ever witnessed an outsider in possession of a work of Dwarven art? No. Sure.
Who built this place again?
Elves.
Okay. Okay. All right.
And like Dwarven art is like the capital D, capital A on those. Are you 200 or 400 years old?
No.
Cool. Relationships. Each romantic relationship is -1 greed. Do you have any? You have a brother who is immediate family, not hateful or romantic.
Right.
Okay. So romantic relationships are -1 greed. Hateful relationships are +1 greed. Hateful family relationships are +2.
Oh, jeez. Okay. Glad that's not true.
Yeah. So we start at 4.
4. Jeez. Okay.
That's not bad.
That
Yeah.
means 3 persona points adds 12 dice to a roll. Right?
Yeah.
Could have made that difficult, that challenge to roll. Resource check.
Well, and like I like the fact that you now have like just absurd quantities of wealth to throw at problems because like you're that greedy.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
What is your current resources, actually?
2? Effectively?
7 taxed to 2.
Okay.
With 5 points in funds, but 1, 2, and 2.
Did the tax didn't hit the funds first? I guess it was just the funds you used.
It
I
wiped
lost a
out the
fund.
3-point fund and 2 dice of cash.
Yeah. Well, cash and
Yeah.
Yeah,
reduce the
cash
penalty.
burns. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, then.
Yeah. Magnus, you know where greed is on your character sheet?
Yeah, I see it. Yeah.
Okay, cool. It's oh no, that was for the avarice thing. Is your greed just it always counts as whatever test you're doing, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's such a good like piece of design that like yeah, this just goes up every time you tap into it. You're that greedy. That's what you get.
Greed.
Mm-hmm.
So what does it take to raise your greed from 4?
4 routine, 2 difficult, 1 challenge.
Okay.
So it's I mean it's any other 4-point trait or ability or attribute or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I make greed checks whenever I see things I want.
So if you see something that you deeply desire, it's a steal test. If you fail the steal test and you're like, well, instead of standing and drooling, I'm gonna like covet this thing. That's 2 routine tests. And then if you like do specifically like super greedy shit, that just like functionally counts as you doing a difficult greed or like a challenging
I
greed
see.
thing.
So if I behave in a way that can be considered greedy, greed goes up.
I just putting this out there. The first thing I saw on a list, total happenstance, manipulating the downfall of a rival in order to take their possessions or power is an Ob 5 test. Just randomly opened the book to that. Who
Just
knew?
random there. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, failing to take a moderate risk in order to increase your wealth, and swearing an oath driven by greed. You're muted, Zach.
You're muted.
Your current oath is driven by hatred and vengeance.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
vengeance and hatred.
That's just about 90 minutes. And honestly, I think like that feels like a decent place to end, and then we can take these traits and figure out beliefs and come back to this next Tuesday.
Okay, I'm good with that.
I have 2 new traits already.
Traits or beliefs?
You mean beliefs?
Beliefs, excuse me.
Okay. I'm
Rainbow
curious to hear
windows.
them.
I will defeat this wizard and keep my name.
Okay.
We'll defeat this one.
My brother will pay for his arrogance.
Awesome.
And then something about murder.
Well, yes, that's the theme so far. Yes. Something
Well, like-
about
My brother will pay for his arrogance is like, I mean, there are so many different ways that could go. And like, I have ideas for what Broadcloak the Wizard thinks and acts and does. Yeah. Cool. Also, feel free to like tweak your instincts if you'd like between sessions if one of them isn't doing anything for you or whatever. Or just doesn't fit your current traits or your mental map of your character.
the mental map of my character is building tunnels underground and lighting them on fire. So,
I still have a problem with beliefs being like short-term achievable objectives.
I mean, so like, I'll defeat this wizard and keep my name, comma, starting with like figuring out where the fuck he is. Alternatively, just like he is teleported into town.
Summoning circle.
Well, no, just like he shows up in town and you've got materials for stuff that makes you immune to scrying, but like,
something murder.
yeah. Well, and like, he's a wizard. He can find and like, I'm kind of taking a lot of the like the root word of wizard is wise, and so like this is a person who is like has all this magic shit, but is also a fairly practical person.
Right.
So like heads into town and is just like, yeah, my scrying's not working. So like, has anyone seen a lady with the scar and like a sword and a pistol and is crazy? Here's
But
a
it could
sack
be
of money.
So many of them.
Here's a sack of money.
Answers to Defabry requires you to call her my lady.
Yeah.
Well, shit.
The best thing though about hunting Margareta by her, it's big enough and heavy enough that it's a physical thing that follows her around.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like skywriting, but with your own.
Yeah. You can follow Margareta by just listening for someone introducing themselves for 10 minutes. All right. Well, on that bombshell, we should wrap this up. We've been That D&D Podcast. I don't particularly like. I was about to say sorry for the short session, but I'm not sorry. Sometimes a session is short, and you get to what you need in 90 minutes. And we'll see you next week.
Yep.
Have a very pleasant and good evening. And yeah, if we had outro music, it would go roughly here.
Oh, we should do that again.
Outro
Push
music.
the beatbox.
Yeah.
Go, Mike. Go. I believe in you.
I can't beat
You're from
Fox.
Detroit, Mike. Come on, you can do this.
That's not how
I know
that
about
works.
white dudes from Detroit, Mike. Come on.
Good night,
Adam was
Quill.
also from Detroit.
Good night, chat. Good night, internet. Be good. Take care of yourselves. Drink some water.
Be excellent to each other.
Yeah.
Be more excellent to each other.
All right.